Strategic foresight in aviation disarmament, that is navigating existential risks. So the first thing is like imagine if you wake up one morning to find that global air travel has come to a complete halt, not because of weather, but due to an AI-driven cyber attack that has crippled aviation infrastructure worldwide. Or if you picture a scenario where autonomous drone swarms escalate conflicts beyond human control. So these are not no more science fiction. So nowadays it's like uncertainties are everywhere. So these are very plausible threats that we must prepare for. Now coming to the real conflict. So governments and corporations are racing to develop cutting edge AI warfare and cyber technologies. Yet global governance frameworks, they lag behind. We are witnessing an arms race in aviation and space that lacks the necessary safeguards to prevent catastrophic escalation. So, will we choose to govern this evolution responsibly, or will unchecked technological advancements lead us into an era of instability and conflict? So, this is the key conflict question right now. So, welcome to today's webinar on strategic foresight in aviation disarmament, navigating existential risks. I am Lynn Frederick D'Souza, founder and director of Esperity and national president of Wiki National Aviation Council. I would like to wish everyone a very happy International Women's Day 2025. It's an honor to speak with you today about the pressing challenges at the intersection of aviation, disarmament, and global security, and mainly its impact on women. So before we begin, I'd like to thank all our participants, industry experts, and policymakers for joining us. In today's session, we will explore how we can proactively govern aviation security threats through strategic foresight, scenario planning, and global cooperation. So the first thing is, what are existential risks? Yeah, so existential risks are catastrophic, low probability, but high impact threats that could lead to irreversible global consequences, threatening the survival of humanity. So why is this such an important topic? Because it's threatening human survival and humanity and lives of people. These risks require strategic foresight and coordinated international governance to mitigate their devastating potential. So the objective of today's talk would be like analyzing the risks, applying strategic foresight, and then proposing governance solutions. So the key existential risk scenarios. So these are the key scenarios. That is AI controlled global air war escalation, then unprecedented cyber warfare, which disrupts global aviation, breakdown of global governance in air and space domains, human machine hybrid pilots, and AI warfare integration, self replicating autonomous swarm warfare, weaponized climate engineering using aviation, and loss of Earth's airspace due to orbital debris crisis. So these are the core risks which you come across, like on doing research. So what you'll find. And furthermore, if you look at it, there are further concerns about proliferation, dual use among state and non-state actors, including terrorism. And when you say dual use, it could be military and civil use, but also it could be using it for good or for bad at the same time. And biosecurity, chemical weaponization, complementing with directed energy weapons and weapons of mass destruction, and transportation of the raw materials to produce these weapons of mass destruction. Then there are other secondary, tertiary, catalytic risks which come into the picture. So if you look at the key existential risk scenario, so there are some cases which are there from which I've come up with these. So in 2020, the US Air Force AI piloted F-16 fighter jet defeated a human pilot in a dogfight simulation that was at DARPA. So the result was 0 to 5, meaning like the pilot who was there was very experienced. So it's a worry for most people, like they're very worried, like, okay, if AI can do that, what would happen in an actual war scenario? Then in 2017, NotPetya cyber attack disrupted logistics at Maersk and FedEx, demonstrating how cyber warfare could target global transport infrastructure. So this NotPetya attack, I have put it up earlier if anyone has seen it, I don't know, but it started as a ransomware. So people thought it was a ransomware, and then finally it crashed the systems and it spread all over. Like it started with Maersk, then went to FedEx, and then it was a supply chain crash completely. So the complete global transport infrastructure was shut down. Then the collapse of the Open Skies Treaty in 2020, which led to increased tensions and a decline in aviation transparency between major military powers. So US, as you know, is in the news for a lot of things. So Trump, when he was there earlier, he pulled out from the Open Skies Treaty in 2020, following which Russia pulled out of the Open Skies Treaty in 2021 because Trump thought like, oh, Russia's gathering intelligence using the Open Sky Treaty, and Russia thought it's not feasible anymore if America is pulled out to have their, to be in the treaty anymore. So Trump has also pulled out from other treaties, which you can read about from UN as well, which is a risk. Then Israel and Ukraine's use of AI in military operations for decision making, reconnaissance, and combat operations in 2023 2024. So you can see this in the news. No need for too much of explanation on this. But the thing is, like the AI used here was mostly with human in the group. So there is a rule is for international law that if there is any lethal weapons and all, there has to be human oversight. So if you are killing someone, human has to have the last decision making power in that to decide like, okay, this is okay. Because if the AI autonomously does that, it is a concern. It could run into a singularity. There are lots of issues with that. And it's sometimes mistakenly out due to biases also attacks. So you know that you might have seen that also in the news. Then the Cargo 2 drone, AI drone, which was reportedly used in Libya in 2020. So this was a major concern because it was autonomously engaging targets without human oversight. So AI ethics has some rules. You need to have human in the loop and things like that because AI has biases. AI has a lot of issues with it ethically. And this drone was running on the find and finish mission, like so it is to just automatically detect and kill, which was a concern. So it has been reported in many places. Then the stratospheric aerosol injection, SAI debate in 2021. So some nations were exploring geoengineering techniques to cool the planet, but these could be weaponized further on. So the concern here is people are afraid that people might misuse this. So you can use something for good, something for bad. And the concern with this cloud seeding and everything is it's not very precise to a certain location. So if you say, okay, I want to use this, so it has been used in different wars as well before. So if they want to control the weather, if they want to control the climate of things, so they cannot actually, like boundary it to a certain country also. So it can leak into other areas as well, which can be catastrophic. Then the 2007 Chinese anti-satellite missile. So this was a ASAT missile where 3,000 pieces of debris were released into space, which is threatening other GPS systems, satellite travel, everything. So even aviation runs on GPS. So this is a concern. Like if you look at, yeah, so satellite operations, space travel, whatever uses the GPS, you would have issues. And moreover, that debris kept orbiting there. So any further satellites or anything else that is there would also get damaged in due time. So when you talk about strategic foresight, it is not predicting the future as most people think, but it's about preparing for multiple futures because there's so much of uncertainty. So it includes taking into account confidence building measures and early warning systems. You might have heard these terms in many places when it comes to disarmament and things. So they want to have early warning systems as well for most of the things. So three main things which you can get from this is number one, to detect emerging threats. Number two, to anticipate treaty breakdowns. And number three, to guide governance responses. So say, for example, the integration of AI in military operations, in military aviation. So that requires enforceable frameworks that mandate human oversight, ensuring that autonomous decision-making remains within ethical and operational boundaries. So this is basically this is a matrix which is a proprietary one of Esperity basically, which I created, a She-Wolf matrix. And from that, when you feed in the data, you get the impact and the strategic response. So I've left it here because we also have a tight timeline, so you can read it. And also impact, if you read the impact, so casualty, aerial conflicts, rapid escalation beyond human control, then grounded flights, hijacked UAVs, economic and security crisis, fragmented aviation and space governance, increased unilateral actions. So if you look at Trump, he's polarizing everything and everything is going unilateral or bilateral. He's stopping all the multilateral things. Safety risks, AI bias, human augmentation dilemmas, potential misuse in military conflicts. So a lot of players can misuse it. It's not just terrorists. If you have drones and things, it's very easy to just do slight modifications and go and attack somewhere. It's as good as a missile, if you see. And then in aviation, you have to see like risks of it falling on people as well. That's another issue again on civilization, urban areas. Then exponential battlefield escalation, collateral damage, rogue swarm threats, geopolitical tensions, unintended environmental disasters, weaponized climate control, then disruption of GPS satellites communication, which is disrupting aviation and space missions. So strategic response, you would see implementing global AI governance, establishing fail-safe human oversight, enforcing treaties on AI warfare limitation. So what you need is like good ethical AI governance. Then you have this term of fail-safe. So you might have heard of this people who are from aviation. You have fail-safe, fail-passive, fail-operational. It means like if that fails, is it safe for people or is there a loss of life? Everything revolves around loss of life when it comes to risk. The highest impact and problem is loss of life. So is that going to function normally without any, problem to people? Is it safe for them? That is what is the question. Because certain things, even if it fails, it is safe for people. Certain things, it's not. Then having treaties is important. So you'll see that at UN and UNODA as well. Bilateral, multilateral agreements and all. Then developing quantum encrypted aviation system. So why quantum? Because quantum has this, state, like it has a dual state. Like how you have bits and all, you have qubits over there. So it can have like two states at the same time. So the thing is, if you disturb that or if you even observe that, it is known that that was disturbed. So supposing somebody attacks there or tries to even observe that, the people who have that system would know that, okay, somebody tried to access it. It will always leave a mark. Every time you observe it, it will change. That is what the state is. And international cybersecurity cooperation and real-time threat detection frameworks. Then strengthening multilateral governance under ICAO and UN, establishing enforceable airspace treaties, enhancing diplomatic crisis response, then defining ethical AI use in aviation, enforcing strict pilot AI interaction protocols. So when you have human-machine interaction, you have to have good SOPs and protocols. Ensuring compliance with international humanitarian laws. So as I said, there are humanitarian and international laws for these things which have to be followed. Establishing global bans on self-replicating weapons. Developing counter-swarm defense technologies, creating AI disarmament treaties. So self-replicating weapons, as I spoke earlier about in one of the meetings as well, is like when 3D printers or modular systems are there where weapons can, they can assemble themselves over time. So say there's a group of different robots or group of AI systems which are able to self-replicate the weapons. It's a futuristic concept, but very possible. And developing counter-swarm defense technologies, very important. Then creating AI disarmament treaties, strengthening international regulations on geoengineering, enhancing transparency and verification, developing counter technologies again. So they have to be proper regulations on geoengineering so that in the future there is no problem. And enhancing transparency. So most of these treaties and everything is for transparency. Whoever's backing out, they don't want to share or be transparent about what they are doing. Then implementing aggressive debris removal strategies, enforcing sustainable space launch protocols, fostering global space traffic management. So there has to be proper sustainable space launch protocols, SOPs for sustainable space. Then there has to be aggressive debris removal strategies. how they are going to remove the debris, because it's a clear problem and will be a problem in future with GPS and communications and everything. And fostering global traffic management. So these are some of the things. So to mitigate these risks, we must implement these strategies basically. And then the role of multilateral organizations such as UN, ICAO, national security agencies, they will be critical in ensuring compliance and enforcement in these cases. So if you look at the strategic impact and crisis mitigation, so coming to tactics and impact, governance impact. So horizon scanning and AI, cyber and space militarization, and your impact would be proactive intervention and crisis prevention. Yeah, so scenario planning for treaty breakdowns, rapid response to geopolitical and tech disruptions, strengthening global security frameworks, global leadership in aviation space governance, international regulation for AI, cyber warfare, climate engineering, strengthen treaty enforcement and risk mitigation, counter technologies against rogue AI and cyber threats, enhance resilience against future risks. So what are the policies that is also kind of covered earlier, because I've told you about this, human in the loop, quantum encryption, everything. Then impact on women and children. So there is a disproportionate impact on women and children. So we need gender responsive strategies in global security policies. So you need a combination of foresight driven governance, humanitarian protection measures, and inclusive decision making. So you need women in those positions, decision making positions, so that the impact is neutralized or mitigated at least. So there are some policy recommendations here you can see. So broadly, it would be integrating women in disarmament negotiations, conducting gender-focused impact assessments, strengthening STEM education, then women's participation in aviation foresight and disarmament governance. So aviation security is not just a technological challenge, it is a human security imperative. So we require inclusive policies. So basically what you need is proactive strategic foresight to anticipate and address emerging threats, robust governance frameworks to regulate AI, cyber warfare and aerospace security, and global cooperation and public-private collaboration to enhance security measures and drive innovation. So these are the key things. So how would you think about long-term strategies? So you need resilience frameworks, then you need responsible AI, cyber warfare, aerospace security treaties, then public-private collaboration to enhance security measures and innovation, then strengthening multilateral partnerships to ensure global policy enforcement, and gender-responsive policies in aviation disarmament by promoting the inclusion of women in strategic decision-making, technological development, and diplomatic negotiations. So coming to the end of it, to conclude, existential risks in aviation, they demand inclusive and proactive governance, strategic foresight, and strong policy enforcement. And what we do at Esprit is we have a multidisciplinary international security future research center for this, so that we are prepared for uncertainties. And at Wiki, we have created a task force to help in saving the lives of women and children, future generations, as human lives matter, children's lives matter, and future generations matter. And as per UN Women, a woman dies every 10 minutes, and every 1 in 3 women undergo some form of sexual abuse. So human rights are women rights and women rights are human rights is the main thing. And this is also in line with the theme hashtag for all women and girls and hashtag 16 days of activism, which is from UN Women for today, Women's Day. And I've shared the details of these in the group. And why it matters, because it encourages ethical aviation policies, increases women participation in aviation peace efforts, promotes transparency and accountability in aviation, and strengthens aviation role in humanitarian missions over conflict. So it is a collective and systemic effort, and we must all come together for this. And thank you for your time today and for attending all our talks and making this event a success. And I look forward to any questions and insights from anyone. I'll open the floor for discussion or question Q&A right now.
So, Lynn, this is a good presentation. Just out of curiosity, all the action items which you're saying, who is
Yes.
going to take those decisions? Because the where we get stuck is sometimes we have these ideas, but who's going to implement them?
Yeah, so we need to work on it. No, that is why we have the disarmament task force collectively. So we have other people we are collaborating with as well. We need to put in the policies and enforce it. I need to collaborate with other organizations like UN and everywhere, which is what I explained, no, to work it out. So already I've given in a research and all, so further things can happen at UNODA and all. People need to just upskill a bit into disarmament and then they can learn how to do this. So that is why we have started the task force. So we need to take it to the government as well, to MEA, to MOCA, Ministry of Civil Aviation, everything, and given these policies, these policy recommendations, because everything is focused on policy recommendations for us at Wikinac. So that is the main thing. And then there are further things like collaboration and all.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the security topic is a sensitive one and generally involves high governmental agencies. That's why I asked that question, because typically these are closely guarded and a lot of decisions happen at a very high level, which is also not very much available information to everyone.
Yes. That is why we need to have a systemic approach where we have Ministry of External Affairs or Foreign Affairs, where you have the Ministry of Civil Aviation, both coming together. And then you have a pressure or a push from UN as well. ICAO, UN everywhere, right up till
Right.
UNODA. So we need to have an international collaboration right up because that would pressurize them as well. And treaties are there for everyone already. India is there with that.
Right, right.
Yeah, but we need
Anyway,
to.
thanks to you and to Vicky NAC for this entire week. And I must say, I'm one of the best attendees. I think I've attended every talk. So I've supported it fully. So good luck to you and to all the women. Happy Women's Day once again.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks to all the partners, speakers, everyone who was a part of this event, sponsors, everyone, media. So this is the closing, the final one. Anyone wants to ask anything? We have 4 minutes. Or should I close and we can connect on the group? Nothing? Then, okay, so I'll close then. Thank you, everyone. It was lovely sharing this with you. Hopefully, we can work together further on this so that it saves people's lives.